So hey guys, welcome to this video. I just bought this mini PC and I'm trying to turn this into a retro console. So I think we should just jump right into it. On this USB drive here we have the ISO. I think it's called Batocera, which was some kind of Linux distribution that I found, which could be nice. Either that or BASI. Let's see what works best. Right now we're just gonna try this one out. Trusty screwdriver and the M.2 NVMe SSD, which is 256 gigs, which should be plenty for retro games. What we're going to be starting with is tearing this down, seeing if anything is working. This is an old Thinkcentre with an 7th generation i5 CPU. It's an M710Q model, so it has Bluetooth, Wi-Fi 5, I think, Bluetooth, Ethernet, and it runs with a 60-watt power supply. Should be plenty. This is gonna be by the TV, so it's pretty nice form factor. So without further ado, let's tear it down. So from what I can tell from online things, we have to tear down the screw in the back here, which is already a little bit loose. It is used, so that's fine with me. Then you pop off the top panel. Oh, there we go. You just have to slide it and then lift it up. Okay, cool. So nice metal plate. Let's put that aside. So this you can see inside of the Thinkcentre here. So under here we have the CPU. We have some, let's see, audio and microphone, two USB type 2.0s and a power button. Then there's Bluetooth up here, which is perfect. And there's Wi-Fi as well up here, I think. No, wait, Wi-Fi is running back here to the antenna, so that might be a problem because I don't have an antenna for this. So we're gonna have to figure that out. Maybe running an Ethernet cable. We don't need Wi-Fi though, so I can just load it on with games from another one. I have another USB where I can load some games onto. So yeah, but where is the NVMe SSD? Oh, yeah, that's right. There's a back cover as well. If we can, there we go. Pop this off. Oh, there we go. So there's SODIMM slots. SODIMM 2, but there's room for one more. So if I have an old laptop, I might be able to donate something to this. There's some cooling pads here as well, and it's not a screw. That's pretty cool. It's a locking mechanism. Let's see if we can get this off and install the SSD. Then we can move on to installing the ISO. Okay, just plop this in here. There we go. That was pretty straightforward. Let's just assemble it again and we can move on. So perfect. We just installed the NVMe. Now let's, I guess, fire it up and see what we can do with this. Used my 2.4 gigahertz dongle for my mouse and keyboard that I use for my main gaming PC to this. And then a HDMI runs into the capture card, which runs into the recording PC, and my 45-watt power adapter from my Lenovo ThinkPad laptop. I need to buy a 60-watt at some point, but for now this should work. And I only draws around 7.5 watts, and we can tune a bit with it. So I think I'm just going to enter setup here just to check everything out. So let's see, system summary. We do have an Intel i5 77,400T, 8 gigabytes of RAM. That's, yeah, there we go. There's the USB partition. Maybe we just turned on secure boot. Oh, that might be it. Secure boot disabled. Oh my god. So that might be it though. Let's see if that's it. There we go. Booting Batocera Linux. It should pop up in a minute. There we go. We're in. Okay, there we go. Okay, so you can definitely see the file system here. There's definitely, holy shit. Okay, so I think I can remove the USB drive and nothing happens. Or something did happen, I don't know. This step-by-step guide is not correct. I could actually have gone to the system settings and installed Batocera on a new disk. And then I could have selected the SSD. So I could just install it on the system here and then format this one and use that for ROMs or things. So I'm trying to do that now. Rotation, storage, install on a new disk. There we go. Network required. Oh god. Damn. Start install a new disk. There we go. Okay, so target device, Samsung target architecture. Are you sure? I am so sure. There we go. It's working. Okay, 3%. So I'll get back to you when it's done, I guess. There we go. Line GPT table, syncing data, removing triggers, everything's there we go. Bring the last of the games onto the USB drive, and I've been figuring out how this whole file system works, and it's actually pretty cool. Next up, I'm going to put the games on this and test them out and plug it into the TV. So now we should be up and running here. I just have to update game list here, and we should have the Nintendo GameCube with Gale of Darkness and Nintendo DS here. That's so cool. Okay, this is awesome. Let's just start up Super Mario Brothers. This is BIOS files. That's awesome. Okay, so that's Nintendo games, but how do I get out of this one? Okay, so we know that works, but how do I exit the game? Hotkey start. Oh, yeah, okay, cool. That worked. If we go in and want to do advanced game options here, see advanced game options. I want to do video mode, maximum, game aspect ratio. Okay, I think we're ready to put this on the TV and test some games out. GameCube here, does this launch? Okay, that's so awesome. So we do have a GameCube opening sequence here. You know what? I'm going to put this to the TV and see how it works. Yeah, so here you see the gameplay I recorded on the TV with my phone just to get the real bearings. So I wanted to put it to the TV test without getting all things. So I wanted to show the aesthetics here as well. So as you can see here, I'm playing the original Halo Combat Evolved. There's clearly some frame rate issues here. It is an older CPU, so we might need to get an old form factor GPU in here, a small form factor GPU in at some point. So yeah, the frame was not so good on Halo. Moving on to Super Mario, with the enhanced graphics that we were able to put in with these games, with the upscaling and stuff I had done in the settings in the image here, we could definitely put on the graphics here. So yeah, we played the full Mario game and it was perfect. No frame skips, no nothing. Everything just worked straight out the box. So moving on to Pokemon Soul Server, I only played the intro here just to check if the enhanced resolution would work, and it definitely did. And I installed a few other Pokemon games on here as well. Plus, we did also Pokemon Scale of Darkness for the GameCube. I'm gonna try out later on. So yeah, this is at the end of the video, unfortunately, but it's been a great journey. Should have bought a 720Q or 920Q Thinkcentre instead with a PCIe slot for a small form factor GPU. Yeah, I should have. As you saw in the Xbox clips, there were some stutters and frame drops during firefight, which is unfortunate because there's a lot of firefight in these games. Also loaded on my old copy of San Andreas, and I might think there's going to be a problem with that as well. If there's a problem with Halo Combat Evolved, there's definitely going to be a problem with San Andreas as well. It's a much bigger game, much more CPU intensive, but what you're going to see. But the kids are loving it so far, and so am I. It's been a great journey to relive some of these childhood games. Even though I didn't grow up in that era, I definitely had hand-me-down consoles from my uncles and aunts and stuff like that. So definitely brought up some memories. Should you guys do this? Yeah. It cost me $50 and about a few hours of my time. Was it worth it? Definitely. If you want to see more of this content, push that red button. It would mean a lot to me, and you guys are going to see more of my content. So win-win, I guess. So yeah, if there's anything you can leave down in the comments, please do. I love criticism, both negative and positive feedback is amazing. It helps me improve, and just throw them down there, of course, with some good language everyone can be in on. So yeah, see you guys later. Bye.